Hey, Dave here from Marino's Auto Repair in South Philadelphia. I wanted to make this informational video about state inspection in the Philadelphia County area. I get a lot of calls throughout the week. People wondering about inspection, they having questions about it, they're confused by the program. So I figured I'd make this video, upload it to the site, and anyone who needs it can get it right away by just checking out the site and popping on the video, and then they can get their information. So let's go right into it. It's going to be like 5 or 6 sections, and then at the end there'll be a video, a demo of a state inspection. So let's get on to part 1, qualifications. How do you qualify for an inspection in the Philadelphia County area, Pennsylvania? To qualify for an inspection, you need a valid registration and insurance card. If you have paper copies, it's a great idea before you make your appointment to check that, make sure that your cards are valid. And if you have a digital copy, it's a great idea to check them out, of course, and get like a screenshot of it. This way you can relay it to the technician, because you're going to see in bay operations, computer operations specifically, that the technician needs to hold those cards while he's doing the inspection. So the most convenient thing is just to check them out, make sure they're up to date, and then you'll have them and you'll be ready, and it'll be very convenient when you make your appointment. So let's move on to part 2 of how to do an inspection in Philadelphia County area. So part 2, the way you do an inspection in Philadelphia County is emissions is required and safety inspection is required. So that's 2 inspections, 2 certifications. You have to pass the emissions first, and then you go on to the safety test. The test takes about, I'm going to say 25 to 45 minutes, depending on the car, and probably over 50% of the cars pass inspection. So let's go on to part 3 of the video, which is going to be the program. So the program of state inspection in Pennsylvania, in my opinion, it's the best system in the country. We have the best inspection system. We're decentralized and highly regulated, so we're basically fixing cars when they need to be fixed. And although it was a situation with lawmakers, I think some years ago, because over 50% of the cars were passing, they said, why do you need this program? Yeah, you really need this program. I've been doing this for over 40 years, and I guarantee you what I'm seeing in cars, sometimes even cars inspected from other states, and they just don't have our technique. They don't have a physical inspection. They're centralized or whatever. The interval's too long, and they just don't do it right. In Pennsylvania, it's every year. It's required maintenance. It works terrific. I guarantee you. We're fixing cars. We're making the highway safer. And, if you pass, you pass. That's great. Now, you don't know if you're going to pass unless you have a test. It has no connection to the maintenance of the car. Generally speaking, when you go in, unless you tell a technician when you bring your car in for service, you want to have like a pre-inspection inspection or something like that. He's not checking a car for inspection most likely, and not all of those requirements of the state are going to be checked and passed. So you don't know. If your car was worked on 3 months ago, it may not pass inspection. I don't even know if my car passed inspection. So it's an unknown. So in order to make it convenient, the best thing to do, I believe, is to make time for the car. Get your car in the shop when you don't need it, and that's the best way to do it. So let's go on to the next part of this video. So part 4 is everybody's favorite, pricing. Pricing and state inspection in Pennsylvania is market driven, and it's generally speaking a price leader. So mostly it's used as something that is priced below the labor rate. I'm saying this on a general basis that most independent shops who are reliable and dependable are not over competing with state inspection. And I think part of it, there's so many reasons to go around that. So I just want to touch briefly on that. Number 1 is that it's a service, and hopefully a service done by a Class A technician. That's not necessarily the case. It doesn't have to be. But if it was me, I would want it to be done by a Class A technician. And so why over compete It's the same type of work as any other kind of work. You're doing work. It's just that simple. I don't know how to, say it in a fancy way. But I would prefer, with the technical aspects of cars today, that a Class A technician do it. So number one reason, why would you overcompete? Number two, over 50% of the cars pass. Okay, so again, why overcompete if the car is going to pass? It doesn't make any sense. If you're looking for work to overcompete when, you're not specifically going to get work on every job, or are you? Again, what is the motivation for overcompeting? And thirdly, is that it's a service, not a product. So you're not comparing apples to apples. An inspection, again, going back to point number one, is that you have various levels of people working on your car, and it's a judgment call. And so you just put that whole package together. And I think the best way of going about it is to find yourself a dependable mechanic and have him do the inspection. He'll do it probably at market rate, which is going to be a built-in value, and everything will be fine when you compare that to the general maintenance of a car. You're fine with that. If you go and look and price shop it and get somebody who's really, really dirt cheap, there could be a motivation behind that. I don't believe it's prudent. So that's what you get in terms of pricing for state inspection. The other thing is in terms of convenience. Most places you're going to run into, very few people now only do safety, and there are people in the South Philly area for sure that only do safety inspections, but I think it's less common today. Most people do emissions and inspections, but even less common than that would be the certified repair technician on emissions. So at Marino's, what we do is we do safety inspection on cars, light trucks, and motorcycles. And then we do emission inspections, and we are certified repair technicians. So we cover 5 categories. We could do a waiver on a car, and of course any exemption and any kind of information you need on emissions. That's basically it. That's as much as you're going to get. But probably the majority of shops, I'm going to say, are going to do just emissions and inspections on cars. So we just happen to be covering all 5 classes. So let's go on to the video part where we show you the bay operations. It's a condensed version. It's not an actual inspection because, of course, that would take a lot longer. But I try to give you an idea of both the computer ops and the safety check. So let's go right on to that, and good luck with your inspections. Thanks for watching. Okay, these are computer operations. For the first test is the emission test. What you're going to do is you're going to need that registration card, and you're going to scan it in. So now you're going to scan all the information for the car off the registration, and then you're going to answer some questions, and you're going to move on to the gas cap test, where you're going to test the gas cap, and then you're going to hook up the interface to the car's ECM, and that information from the ECM will then get uploaded into the computer, and they'll go to the state's website and they'll keep that in their database. So that's basically how the computer operations work on the emissions test. That comes first, and you have to pass that before you go on to safety. So basically, computer operations for the safety are similar to emissions in the sense that you have to enter the information in and then it's uploaded. So first we're going to scan the barcode on the registration, and then we're going to enter that information in, and then for the safety side we're going to need information on the insurance. So we're gonna keep those cards during the operations, and we're gonna enter them numbers and information in. So then the safety check is done mechanically, and information is recorded some numbers on the brakes and tires, and some other information on the car. That's all put into the website, and it's uploaded to the state, and they keep that in their database.